This is Carl at National RV Detroit. I'm going to walk you through this 2025 Flagstaff E-PRO travel trailer. The model number is 19FBS. So this is going to be a how-to video. It's not a floor plan or sales video. I'm just going to show you some of the features and how they work, okay? So first of all, you have quick drop stabilizer jacks. The reason they're called quick drop is because you don't have to crank them all the way to the ground. They'll drop to the ground, and then you crank them and put some pressure on them, and it'll stabilize the trailer. But you don't have to crank it between the up position and the ground. It just drops, so it saves you time and energy. You have, on this particular trailer, you have outside speakers, power awning with LED strip. Here we have power, regular 120 AC. A utility table. This is the griddle here. There's a griddle top sitting on the table. Now this has to be plugged in to the LP system to work, so you can see you got a quick connect LP line here. That connects to the griddle and then to the quick connect on the trailer itself right there. So you have to do that in order to get gas to the grill. This is the vent for your range hood. So if you're cooking and you're using the range hood to vent to the outside, you see those two tabs up there on each side. You want to push those up with your thumb or index finger and spring the baffle loose so it flaps freely when you're venting. When you're not, you can just snap it shut like when you're traveling or in storage. But when you're trying to vent to the outside, that has to be flapping freely. Okay? That's your LP furnace vent here. You're getting a hitch with this, so this is a Husky centerline weight distribution hitch with built-in sway control. We'll show you how that works when you pick up. Okay. You also have a wheel for your tongue. This piece right here is an extra piece that has to go with your bike rack. If you needed to move your bike rack forward or closer to the trailer, you can do it with that attachment. You probably won't need to, you almost never have to, but if you need it, you've got it. The one that's on here now goes straight up and down, as you can see. So that gives you the correct position. One thing to note on this bike rack, it holds two bikes. There are four of these here, these stirrup type things. Half of them go the other way. So picture two on each one going to the back and two going to the front, because one bike will hang on this side and one will hang on this side. So you have to adjust it according to your bicycles. This is just a pre-wire here. This is in case you have you want to buy their kit. This one's made by Go Power, which is owned by Dometic, and it's just a portable solar panel that you would plug into there. That'll do nothing but charge your battery. So it's just a solar battery charger, and that's, like I said, it's an option you could purchase if you're interested. You have two LP tanks, regulator, automatic changeover regulator. This is the green here, as you can see, with the arrow here. If you can see that, that's telling you there's gas in the tank. If it was empty, it would be red. You can point it at each tank to tell you, and it'll tell you how much, or if there's gas in the tank or not. But you pretty much would know that already, obviously. But it's automatic changeover. It'll drain one tank, then the other. You have your battery box, enough for two batteries in there. You have your power tongue jack. Now your power tongue jack can be cranked manually with the same crank you use on your stabilizers. You would have to pull this piece out, take the pin, thread this piece out, remove the antlers here, and then you would go straight down and you'd remove this up rubber plug here, and there's going to be a hex there, 3/4 inch hex, and you can put your crank right on there, or you can use your drill with an extension and a bit, whatever you want to do. But you can crank this manually if you get into trouble. So there's always a way out when it comes to hitching and unhitching. In case you need to, you can crank it manually. And of course there's a light on here, hitch light. Okay. As we look at the pass-through storage, these are your cranks. Here is your water docking area. So your city water hookup is right here. That's the most common way to get water to your trailer, is the city water hookup. So you just hook it up and you're all set. Now if you're camping someplace that doesn't have city water, you can pre-fill your fresh water tank, and then when you get to the campsite you can turn on your electric pump and pump the water from your tank. All the plumbing will work as though you have city water, but you'll be pumping it from the tank, so that's an option also. This one has to do with pulling antifreeze into the system. You'll have to learn about that if you're going to winterize it yourself, okay? This is your water heater. This is your anode rod / drain plug. You can see that's where it screws into the 6-point socket. Now this works on both gas and electric. There's an electric heating element behind this cover here, and there's your gas burner there. Those are both operated from inside. I'll show you where the switches when we get inside, along with the water pump switch and the other switches. One thing to remember is never run this without water in it. Always make sure you have water in the water heater tank. It's a 6-gallon tank. So make sure it's full before you turn on the heating element, for example, or the burner. This is bypassed right now because it's winterized. So right now the valves are bypassing the water heater. So okay, you have this type of slide out is referred to as a Schwintek, just so you know, in case you need to know at any point. It's owned by a different company now, but people still refer to it as a Schwintek. So. People will know what that is. This is your hookup for your coiled sprayer that's inside. Just a quick connect. You got hot and cold water. This is your black tank flush. So it says on the sticker, do not turn on the water to this black tank flush unless you have the black tank valve open. So there's the black valve. You want that in the open position before you turn on the water. Otherwise, too much pressure could build up. So the system, the sequence would be: you hook up your hose, your dump hose. You put the dump hose into the system, and then you will pull your black tank valve and let it drain your black tank flush. You leave the valve open. Then you hook the hose at the dump station onto here, turn it on, and that will spray out your tank. Clean off the sensors so you get a good accurate reading, that sort of thing. Okay, so keep that in mind. It's your 30-amp power cord. Okay, coming around the back, this is pre-wired for a backup camera. So that takes a Furrion backup camera kit if you're interested. You can add that on. We have them here, you can get them elsewhere. Basically it just comes with a backup camera, and then you'll have a little screen that you plug into your USB port or your cigarette lighter port in your car, okay, or your tow vehicle. You also have a ladder, which is great. It makes it easy to inspect the roof. That's important to inspect your roof. The manufacturer states every 90 days you should inspect the roof. So you want to go up there and be very careful. Whoever goes up there, obviously, be very careful and look for damage to the roofing attachments or roofing material that could be caused by low branches or road debris flying up there, for example. You could also look at the sealant to make sure there's no cracking or separation where that water can get through. Odds are you won't have to do anything for years, but you don't know unless you look. So every 90 days you should inspect your roof just to stay ahead of any potential problems. Okay? Alrighty. So let's go inside. First thing we see when we come in the door is the power converter. So this, first of all, this trailer has solar panels. It has 2 actually, which is new that they're shipping them with 2 now. So you have 12-volt solar panels that store the power in your battery or batteries. You can put 1 or 2 batteries on here, whichever you choose. 2 batteries equals more storage. So here we are with the power converter. First it says it auto detects what kind of batteries you have. We have regular wet batteries, deep cycle marine batteries, so it'll detect that automatically, so you don't have to set anything independently. When you open it up, you have your circuit breakers here, 120 AC, and they're labeled. These are just like you probably have at home. Then the power is converted to 12-volt DC on this side. You see you got 12-volt fuses here now, and they're labeled. So that's where the 12-volt power comes from. So this is also a battery tender. So as long as you're plugged into shore power, it's going to sense how much energy your battery or batteries up front on the tongue have and need, and it'll, if they're charged, it'll just trickle a couple amps up there. If it's low, it can send 10 amps or whatever. So keep that in mind. So it's a distribution panel for AC power. It's an AC to DC power converter and a battery charger, all in one. That's called the power converter. While I'm down here, this is your carbon monoxide ILP gas detector. It should always be green like it is. If it's not green, get it serviced. Don't put it off or ignore it. It's obviously very important. So always make sure it's glowing green. And you can, above the green light, there's also a button you can push to have, do an audio test on it. So, okay. Let me get up here and excuse my camera work here. So we'll stick with power right now. So that's converting AC to DC power. This also does the opposite. It inverts power. So it'll go from 12 volt DC, which is stored in the batteries or battery, and it'll convert it to AC power and send the AC power to your receptacles. So if you look here, for example, this would be inverted, right? So the idea is, and let me just go along a little farther. This is inverted. These two here are inverted, or that one is inverted. So the idea is, if you're out in the middle of nowhere, let me shut this radio off. He's got it going here. Hold on, please. Guy's stuck in the 70s here. Okay. All right. Where was it? Okay, so this is the inverter, which does the opposite of the converter. So I can turn it on here so you can see. You have to hold the button for a few seconds. There we go. Lighten up here and start to do its thing. So now it's turned on. Okay, the battery is sending inverting power right now. So it takes 12 volt DC from your battery and inverts it to 120 AC and sends it to your receptacles. The idea is you can run a small AC appliance from off of your batteries using this inverter. So if you've got a blender or a coffee pot or something that runs on AC power, you can operate it when you're out in the middle of nowhere and you have no AC hookup. So it just gives you a way to create some AC when you need it. I mean, you can't run anything large. You can't run the microwave or the air conditioner off of it, for example, but you can run small appliances off of it. So that's the power inverter. So it converts going from AC to DC, and it inverts going from DC to AC. Okay? Always shut it off if you're not using it. There's no reason to invert power when you don't need to. You have to hold your finger on the button for a few seconds to get it to turn on or turn off. Okay. So that brings us to the solar panels. We're still talking about power here. Okay. So here we have the solar controller. First of all, this has to be set. Let me light it up here for us. This has to be set to the type of battery you have. So if you can see, maybe not on the camera, when you look at it in person, it says flooded here. It won't detect the batteries automatically. You have to set it. So if you're planning on putting lithium batteries in or gel batteries, whatever, you have to manually change this. You look in the booklet that comes with it. That's in your binder, and it's very simple to do that. And so you need to look at that and change it over. It will not detect the type of batteries automatically like I mentioned that the converter does that, but this will not. So that's if you're going to change to a different type of battery, you have to change this. Okay. All right. So this rotates through the different screens. There's 3 of them. The most important one is the double one, which is coming up here, right there. 13.8 volts DC. That's what's in your system right now, your DC system. So you got 13.8, which is perfect. Now, below that is 9.5 amps. That means you're converting 9.5 amps, or you're gaining 9.5 amps of electricity and storing it in your battery, because you have two panels. So that's great. That's almost 10 amps, which is quite a bit of gain. Of course, that'll change depending on the climate, the weather outside, the time of day, the position of the sun in relationship to the trailer. All those things and more affect the amount of sunlight that you're turning into DC electricity. This is where you find out what's happening. So it'll come around again, 13.8 and 9.5 amp gain, which is excellent. That's the total gain from the panel, and that's the temperature right there. So there's 3 screens, but the most important one is that one right there, in my opinion anyway. You can do more with this. You have to read the manual. It's floating right now when it comes to charging, but you can read up on it a bit. You can learn as much as you want about it. The great thing about you have the information that comes with this, all the components of this trailer, but then you can also go to the component manufacturer's website and look at their product videos too, and you can learn more that way. All right. Okay. While we're standing here, this is your thermostat. It's very simple. You just light it up, and then you're going to poke it till mode happens, which is right there. It has heat going right now, but I'll just go around back to heat to show you. You can choose what you want. And right there, it's set at 68 degrees, which I like, and I'll keep it. If I wanted to raise or lower it, I would just turn the knob and select a new temperature. So you pick AC. You do the same thing. It's obviously it's self-evident. It's very simple thing. As we come back over here now, when we came in the door, we passed the control panel. Now you can talk to this thing. You can say, let me remember what to say. Hey, Pro Power. Let me try it again. Hey, Pro Power. Come on now. Don't do this to me. Don't give me the silent treatment. Let me try it again here. Hey, Pro Power. Huh. I was just using it a few minutes ago. Well, let's see if I can figure out what's happening here. Let me just select some things here just to wake it up here. Hey, Pro Power. That's terrible. That's just terrible. Let me look here. Wait for the system to respond and give you a command. Hey, Pro Power. Oh boy, that's terrible. This does work, but we'll just keep going here. You can use the voice commands, and it'll tell you. I don't know if it still does, but they used to have different commands pasted around the trailer. Hey, Pro Power, what's my battery level? Hey, Pro Power, I'd like to relax, which shuts the lights off, I assume. You can. Hey, Pro Power, I'm home. Oh, I just heard it answering over there. Good night, we'll shut the lights off. Here, I heard it respond to me here. Hey, Pro Power. There it goes. Hey, Pro Power. Gosh, this thing. Crazy thing. Hey, Pro Power. Well, it works. When you get here, trust me, it'll be working fine. I don't know what if I have to reset it or what I have to do, but it was working fine. So honest. So okay, so let's go on to something else here. Your TV is more than a TV. It's also a radio. It has USB. Inside, you can change the speakers inside and outside. You've got some stuff here. Notice I can move it around, but you got a water filter. Your coiled sprayer. These are two lines, so you can add you can put another battery in it. This is your tire monitor. You have to each of the wheels has a sensor that's stuck to the wheel inside the tire directly across from the valve stem. So you have to get close to it, and then you set this up so it'll alert you when your hubs get too hot. It'll tell you the temperature, or when your tire pressure is too low, it'll alert you. So it's a neat thing. You take this up in the screen up into the cab like you would your a backup camera monitor or something like that. Okay, your keys are right here. When it comes to your, let me try this again now. Hey, Pro Power. Gosh, that's crazy. All right. You don't know what I like to say to the Pro Power, but I'll keep it to myself. So this has this lights automatically in the sense that you're just going to go to high and you depress it, light the burner. Very simple. Same thing with the oven, except the oven has a pilot light all the way at the back down there. So you'll do the same thing. Once it lights, You hold it in for another 10 or 15 seconds to heat up the thermocouple down here. You can see it's lit right now. And then you're just going to go to temperature. And it lights up like it's doing right now. So, very simple. You also have a light here, an ambient light, and then an oven light there. Okay. Pro power. Pro power. Okay. This is the vent we talked about. If you're venting to the outside with the fan, make sure you open that baffle so it does vent to the outside. You have a light here. Let's see. Escape window, which works like they all do. You just gonna push it all the way through. Grab a hold of the tab and pull the screen out. You could escape in an emergency. Okay. This flattens out. This jackknife's flat to a bed, so you've got another bed. You can pull the table right off and stow it. Microwave works like any other microwave. Now this is a neat thing here. This is a switch to turn your refrigerator on and off. The refrigerator runs on 12 volt DC, right? So it's always going to be sucking, when you're not plugged in, it's going to be sucking amps from the battery, right? So when you go into storage, you would, let's say you're storing it and you're going to be traveling in a couple months. If you just pull it into storage and you shut off the refrigerator, the solar panels will keep the battery charged, for example. But if you don't, this is always going to be competing for the power, so the refrigerator will compete for the 12 volts that's being gained from the sun, right? So you can just take it right out of the equation by shutting it off, which is a great thing. Also, when you're out in the middle of nowhere, if you have to conserve electricity because you're you use it for something else, you can always take it, like I said, take it right out of the system by shutting it off. So it's a good thing to have. This runs, like I said, on 12 volt DC, so that's important. One more echo type thing here is this thing here. It's called the shower miser. What this does is it sends the water around in a loop. It just cycles it around and around and around. From here to the water pump, to the water heater, back to here, around and around and around. The reason it does that is because when you're heating up your shower, you just send perfectly good water down the drain. So you're wasting perfectly clean, good water. A lot of places have drought conditions and all that. You're not supposed to waste water. So by sending it around in a circle, you're not wasting it. You're just heating that section of water up. So it also when you're doing that, you're wasting space in your gray tank because you're going to be putting perfectly good water into your gray tank and you're going to have to dump it sooner because of that. So when you get to where you're going to take your shower, you go down, put it in this position down here. You can see the symbol with the water going in a circle, and it'll just heat it up. You turn it on, it'll just send it around a circle and heat it up while it's going around. No water's coming out of the shower head, and this will turn to a beigeish color really quickly. You'll see it plain as day. Be very obvious. And once it does that, you know that the water is heated up. Then you're just going to put it to the normal position. You see the picture of the shower, and the water comes out of the shower head. It's already been heated up. So that's the shower miser. Like I said, if you can learn as much as you want about it by going to the websites. This one has a drawing that maybe explains it better than I did, but it's just a water recirculator. So it's an eco device. Now here we have a GFCI. Keep in mind that although most of the plugs are not GFCIs, they're still wired to this GFCI. So all the plugs are GFCI protected, and if you're using something outside and it pops, you're still going to come in here and look to see if it was this GFCI, and you'll reset it here. So anytime you lose an outlet, think GFCI first, okay? Alright, the toilet works like any other toilet in a trailer. It sits right over a black tank. There's the flush pedal. So it's pretty much standard. You're going to throw a dose of chemical right in the bowl. You'll step on the pedal and hold it down while you put at least a gallon of water into the tank below along with the chemical. Then it's ready to be used. You can use more than a gallon of water, just don't use less, and you're all set. Never use it dry. Never skip the chemical in the water, because if you do that, it'll get clogged up. It'll smell terrible. It'll just be a mess. So always a dose of chemical and at least a gallon of water. Okay? Alrighty. So also you have this fan here. It's got a cover on it so you can open it during the rain. It's got 4 speeds. The 2 speeds are very quiet. The low speeds, the 2 high speeds really crank. So, you know, it won't pull your hair straight up, but it's close. So it's powerful. So it's a really good fan. Okay. Never leave your power awning out without you being at the campsite. Never leave it out unattended. The weather can come up quick and it'll just flip it right on the roof. So you always roll it in when you're not going to be around. Okay, and I think that pretty much covers it. So let me look at one more thing. This is another pre-wire. If you're interested in getting better Wi-Fi for your family, or not Wi-Fi, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's Wi-Fi. If you're looking at getting better public Wi-Fi for your family, you can scan the code and look at their products that are pre-wired. Their products would consist of an antenna that goes on the roof. There's a pre-wire spot on the roof, and then a router box that fits right up there. I know it says 5G on it, but that's just one function. Most people aren't interested in 5G. They just want to get better public Wi-Fi for their family, and so it's a great Wi-Fi booster. So if you're interested, you can look into that also as a pre-wire. Okay? All right then. So I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. Please remember what I said about inspecting the roof every 90 days. That's very important. Right now this trailer is winterized, so keep that in mind. Never run the water heater without water in it, and we'll see you when you get here to pick it up, and we can answer more of your questions and make sure you're comfortable with everything, okay? Thank you.